Hello people and welcome to the first of the RCI Thursday AM GT4 Championships. Putting together quick highlights for the AM class because that's where I'm driving. And yeah, getting into it. It was a wet qualifying. We all came out a grade of 32. Expecting we could expect anything with an RCI series, so it was wet. The GT4s came out, and after a interesting qualifying session, in P1 was Marcin Olejars with a 1:49.9. He was the only driver in the AM class to set a time in the 1:49s in the wet. P2 to P6 did a 150 in the wet, and from P7 all the way down to P17 did a 151, and then from P18 did a 152. There were only 150. There were three 152s: P18, P19, and P20. And then P21 did a 153. And at the end of the pack, there were two drivers who did not complete a valid lap. So, although it was a relatively close qualifying session, it's not entirely clear what the field will be like in the dry. So we're looking forward to this, and let's go see how the race turned out. We joined the pack as they come around the final corner into the start-finish straight. Olejars in pole position in the 210 Porsche. And we're away. The lights are green. It's a green flag, and the cars all charged down to the first corner. Olejars defending from Buck. He has the inside line, and he pulls away from everyone else. P22 Buck in the Aston Martin keeping pace, and there's John Gleeson in the KTM doing a good job of putting that car far forward. And we have some cars jostling for position at the front of the pack already. Everyone seems to be filing through okay so far. The field is already beginning to fan out as we finish the first sector and into the second. It's side by side with Diayo and Alfie Berthold. Meanwhile, at the front of the pack, everyone's just lined up out, and away we go. Oh, we already have Wisniewski having to look up the inside of Gleeson. Oh, and he makes a stick. Gleeson pulling out, letting him through because, well, I guess they've chosen to work together instead of battling all the way through. But that Porsche was fast up the inside and up into P4, and Gleeson working backwards already. Meanwhile, James on lap 3, we have James Birtwistle and Dami Ayo. Dami Ayo looking for a way past James, coming down into turn 1. Oh, he sends it up the inside. It's side by side coming out of the first sector, and he makes a stick. It's just, oh no, that's contact. He recovers, but James is back in front, and there is carnage behind. Unfortunately, there is carnage with all the cars behind, and that would be a bit of a reshuffle of the pack, but that's very unfortunate. But further up in the lap 3, we had Alfie having a look at Jamie Gleeson. Jamie goes defensive into the corner. The BMW tries to take the outside. He goes very wide outside, trying to find his way past. Is he going to find a way past Gleeson? And he does. Gleeson gives him a little space on the inside. They go around. They don't touch. This is some good driving from both GT4s, and Joe Gleeson keeps his position. Also on lap 3, we have Jack Haynes and Nico Vlamink. I think Haynes has already made his way past in the AMG. I do not see the Chevrolet. Oh, there he is. There is the Chevy. And Jack Haynes makes a pass around the outside, just straight up speed. I do not know if Nico is carrying damage already by this point, but Jack Haynes in the Mercedes makes that pass look very easy in the 56. Well done, Mr. Haynes. Well done. While on lap 4, we have Robin de Groot and Jaseje. Apologies for the pronunciation. But de Groot and the Audi is having a look around the Porsche. I think Porsche had a little bit of a wobbly exit from sector 1. Is he going to make a stick around the outside of the hairpin? They side by side. Oh, it's going to be a drag race to the next corner. That Porsche does have the launch, so I think Ja was actually completing an overtake on Robin. Robin was defending and could not make it work. Meanwhile, on lap 4, we have the 727 Porsche and the 96 Aston Martin. The 727 looking a little worse for wear there, but trying to keep his line around the outside. We have the Aston Martin on the inside, and he makes the pass look easy. That was as straightforward as it comes. Oh, no, no. Yeah, Romiska is back in. He is back in. He tries to defend up the inside, runs a little wide coming out the corner. And we have, I believe that is Roberts having a look from behind as well. Yep, Phil joining in on the action. And Phil makes a pass on Alex Walker. So he's gone from trying to pass one car to drop in a position. Meanwhile, Phil Roberts has a run on Romiska, apologies. And he takes it into the final corner, approaching the start-finish straight. And Phil Roberts makes up 2 positions in as many corners. Great driving. All the cars currently looking a little worse for wear. It looks like a lot of people have been in the wars today. And it's only lap 4. Meanwhile, on lap 5, we have Willie Pope having a look at Robin de Groot. Cars running wide in the background. Willie Pope and the Aston Martin looking for a way past the Audi in front of him. Robin de Groot does not defend the inside. Willie sends it on the brakes. I think de Groot's looking for the cutback. De Groot's got the cutback. Some light rubbing of paint, but yep. De Groot followed a nicer line through there and made it work for him and keeps his position. Now, Willie Pope is having to defend from behind. On lap 5 also, we have Jazeje and Lucas Wick in the Porsche and Audi, 29 and 49, chasing each other down. This is for P8, it looks like. Anderson has just got wide in front. He has gone very wide and is trying to rejoin, and he's going to lose positions hand over fist. He's lost 2 positions, 3 positions, and potentially a 4th with the run from behind. But Ja is running away with this. Well done, Ja. Or running away with the position, I should say. Meanwhile, in pole position, we still have Martin Olija's running away with it. But there are battles all over the field. And right now, we have Alex Walker and Nieromirski. Nieromirski has been having a nice battle all the way up and down this field. The 96 Aston Martin, I think, and he's just run wide. Commentator's curse, 77, has run wide in the race and let Alex Walker right through. So Alex Walker up into P16, also into P15, and Nieromirski down to P16 as we approach the start-finish line at the end of lap 5. This has been a very eventful race all the way around. In lap 6, we have James Birtwistle and Joe Gleason vying for position. The KTM just having to clean the line through, and not much that James can do about that. Oh, the KTM with the drift. I'm not sure if there's contact there, but he will not be happy with that either way. Contact or no, he has lost the position back to James. All the hard work, he's going to have to do it all again to get past them as the race goes on. Meanwhile, James taking advantage of the mistake by the KTM and pulling away. We know that the KTM may not have the greatest top-line speed. So, yes, James making the most of that. Meanwhile, on lap 7, we have Jazeje and Robin de Groot. Ja in the Porsche 29 and Robin in the 28 Audi. Robin's looking up the inside. These two have been battling for a while. Oh, what is that? Number 7 Porsche also sends it through. And now, I think as a result of his avoiding action, Ja has lost 3 positions. But at least he still has a car intact and he can work on getting back this position. He will not be happy. And there goes the 49, also making contact. Sure, that will be reviewed by the stewards afterwards if it's put in front of them. Meanwhile, on lap 7, we have Ian Marshall in the 118 Aston Martin and Ja again in the 29 Porsche. Ja also having a very eventful race. Ian doing very good on the brakes, and then Audi in the background absolutely losing it. What is happening? Everybody's a bit excitable in this race. But Ian Marshall comes out through all that action, and we've got some 3-wide action in the back. Ian Marshall pulls away. He takes P10 and he gets to open a gap to the cars behind him. But while Ander Leptis, I think this was the car that had a bit of an issue earlier in the Aston Martin, but he's looking okay now. He takes the inside on Robin de Groot. Robin's going back. This is lap 8. We're just about to leave the second sector. Robin still got the inside, and I think Andre's going to try and get a run on him, and Andre has got a run on him, and is going to be a drag race down to the hairpin. We have 361 Willie Pope in the background sniffing for a position if possible. And nope, nothing doing there. Robin de Groot keeps the position from Ian Marshall. And this is lap 9. Lap 9, Robin de Groot in P28, Ian Marshall in the... Robin de Groot in the 28 Audi. They are currently in P8. This is a battle for P8. Going down the straight, side by side. cars sniffing for position, people running wide. It's all happening here. It's all happening. And we fall back into position. Meanwhile, on lap 9, Jack Haynes with a good overtake earlier is now being hunted down by Johannes van der Meer. And Johannes has the cleaner line approach in the corner. Johannes on the inside. I think he's going to make this work. He's going to make this work. Jack Haynes did not get the brakes right and allowed Johannes right through on him. So on lap 9, the 6 or 7 of Johannes van der Meer overtakes Jack Haynes for P19, working his way back up the field as he would expect to be doing. I'm sure Jack Haynes will be trying to get his way back as well. Also, but then on lap 10, we have Phil Roberts looking at Robin de Groot's. These two have been nose to tail for most of the race already. And Robin de Groot's actually the one having a look at Phil Roberts' apologies. De Groot's in the Ginetta that could. And Phil Roberts just runs wide. I think he saw the Ginetta and decided, yep, I'm going to go on an excursion. And you don't have to give Ruben a second opportunity. He is right through. He's already on the hunt for the next car in his sights. And I believe that is Ian Marshall up in front of him. Some good driving out here from some drivers. Meanwhile, Joe Gleason in the KTM and Nico Vlaming having a little just no-still following action with Dami Ayo in the background sniffing for some action. Oh, no. And the KTM's lost it. Joe Gleason's gone off track, allowing both Nico and Dami through. And approaching the start-finish line, Dami up from P14 into P13. Nico up from P13 into P12. And we go again. Another lap of the circuit. On lap 11, we have Alex Siklovan and Joe Gleason battling for position. Alex in the BMW 27. Joe Gleason seems to be struggling a little bit in that KTM today. And there goes Alex on him. Oh no, but Alex lost control. Joe Gleason with some good driving, kept his composure, retained his position. Meanwhile, Phelps makes a pass, and the 84 is having Verboven is also having a look at the position. So 27 losing 2 positions there. Meanwhile, on lap 12, we have Christopher Verboven. We're already over halfway into this race, and so many. I have hardly had a chance to catch my breath. We have drive-thrus, we have stop-and-goes, penalties all over the place. Meanwhile, Christopher Verboven and Sam Phelps battling for position. It looks like Verboven is run a little wide. Sam Phelps has kept his position in front of him, or made a pass. And now there's a little group of 4 just vying for position once more. This is fantastic to watch. I may have to take a break after this because I am beat. Meanwhile, on lap 13, Matthew De Luca and Richie Hartley, Ginetta and Chevy. What's going to happen here? And the Ginetta's run wide. Just allowed allowing 2 cars through again. This seems to be a feature of this race in some places. The brakes on some cars just letting the drivers down, or it allows for some fantastic racing, and we have Matthew De Luca taking the position up in P20. Meanwhile, Andy Yates and Nico Vlaming are having a little side-to-side action. It's a 3-way battle for the position, all fighting for 25th, 24th. I believe that's Daniel Zlatnik involved as well. Nope, that is not Daniel Zlatnik. That's Steven De Voist. Steven also quite experienced driver, so he'll be looking for a way past, and they both make it past the KTM. Andy Yates going backwards. It's like you lose 1 position, you lose 2 currently. That KTM struggling with top line speed, it looks like. Meanwhile, we have Alex Walker and Christopher Verboven on lap 14. This chunky Chevy in the background having a look up at the inside of the Aston Martin. That is some very, very optimistic driving. He just squeezes it in. That is a big chunky car to make fit through there. Gives him lots of room on the exit, runs wide in the process. Probably going to get a warning from that from the stewards, but now it's side by side straight into the hairpin. Lap 14, Alex Walker and Christopher Verboven having some fun with themselves. Just leaving up, and they're still together. It's the Aston Martin leading from the Chevy. I'm not sure what's happening anymore. They're vying for position is side by side. It is hectic, and it is all happening. It is all happening in this GT4 race. This is some fantastic driving from Christopher and Alex Walker. They've been together for 3-4 corners now, side by side, vying for position. And I think the Chevy has just edged it. The Aston Martin running very wide on the exit there. Meanwhile, on lap 14, we have this Romiski 727 and Steven De Voist in the Porsche on Porsche battle. So very similar cars. maybe slight differences in the setup to suit the driver's settings. Steven Voice makes it past. The KTM misjudged that totally. I think there was even contact in the background, and Steven gets a chance to pull away from Gneromiski. This, he will be happy with that. I will put money on 7-7 Gneromiski, not being happy with that, but he gets to keep a position and gets to stay alive for the next race. Meanwhile, on lap 15, Ian Marshall in the 118 Aston Martin battling with Phil Roberts and the Ginetta that could, and the Ginetta is side by side with him. Phil Roberts slipping down the grid from his qualifying position. I am not entirely sure what's happening. He's just rode wide. He has misjudged his brakes. He has gone very wide. I think he got distracted by the car of Willie Pope in front and the yellow Aston Martin. And there's a lot of Aston Martins on the grid today now, I think about it, filling out the top 10. Very good driving from the Aston Martin crew on this first race. Meanwhile, Sam Phelps on lap 13, battling with Joe Gleason in the KTM. KTM leading from Porsche. Sam Phelps having a look. Sam Phelps running very wide. Both the KTM and the Porsche running very wide. I think a lot of drivers may still be expecting a wet race. I'm not entirely sure what's happening, but the brakes have been failing drivers in places they don't usually do. Joe Gleason's going to have a go right back at Sam Phelps. This is the battle for P12 and P13. Joe Gleason in the pink KTM, Sam Phelps in the yellow Porsche. It's nose to tail, wheel to wheel battling. Both drivers giving it all they have. And it looks like the KTM has just settled into the position in front of Sam Phelps. Joe Gleason in 12th, Sam Phelps in 13th as we approach the end of the race. 2 laps to go. Ian Marshall, this is also on lap 16. Ian Marshall and Willie Pope fighting for position. Aston Martin, 1 red, 1 yellow. Oh, he's lost his brakes. That was some quick recovery. Ian Marshall. Great awareness, Willie Pope, for letting him have that, because he would have taken you with him. It looked like he had a bit of issues on the brakes, a bit of a drift, and made it through. And Willie Pope ends up losing 2 positions because Phil Roberts followed through as well. On lap 17, 1 more lap to go. Sam Phelps is having a look at Joe Gleason up in front of him. Joe Gleason keeping the position. These two have been battling for 2-3 laps already. Sam Phelps with a better run out. He muscles his way through. Joe Gleason in the KTM must be wondering where to get some speed on the straights, because he is not. He's going backwards every time someone has a run on him. But he's better on the brakes and corners, so he's going to try and find a way past the Porsche. Meanwhile, up in front, Wisniewski managed to get past Martin Oligors, and we have Nathan Wisniewski coming through for the win on lap 18 of race 1. Very well done, Wisniewski. We had Wisniewski with the lead, Martin Oligors in 2nd, and Buck in 3rd. Alfie Bertholdt only made it up to 4th. Bert Russell in 5th. And this has been a very interesting first race. Lots of action, lots of unwanted incidents. I'm sure there'll be lots of reviews for the stewards after the races are done. After what turned out to be a very eventful first race, we had Nathan Wisniewski in P1. In P2, we have Martin Oligors. In P3, Sean Buck. In P4, Alfie Bertholdt. In P5, James Burt Russell. P6, Andre Leptis. P7, Ian Marshall. P8, Willie Pope. P9, Dami Ayo. P10, Robin de Groot. P11, Phil Roberts. P12, Christopher Verboven. P13, Alex Sikloven. P14, Joe Gleason. P15, Sam Phelps. P16, Johannes van der Meer. In the second half of the table, we have Jack Haynes at P17. P18, Matteo De Luca. P19, Jazeche. P20, Gergely Mazak. P21, Buzzy Grismot, Gneromiski. P22nd was Stephen DeVoist. P23rd, Alex Walker. 24, Mac Wingham. 25th, Nico Vlaminks. 26th, Oleg Krivoshev. 27th, Daniel Zlatnik. 28th, Richie Hartley. 29th, Andy Yates. 30th, Peter Yakab. 31st, Lucas Wick. And bringing up the rear, Seb Buss. What a race. What a race as we approach the second race. It's going to be another fun 30 minutes of racing, and let's see if people can better the results, if we can have less incidents. It should be fun. We are back for race 2, joining the leaders as they come around the final corner, approaching the start-finish straight. And this is going to be another exciting race. Once again, we have Marcin Olejars on pole. Qualifying lap doing very good things for him, and we're away. Marcin once again pulling away from the crowd. No, Buck is just right there on his outside. Oh, we have someone with the drive-through in the middle of the pack for his position at the start. That is very unlucky, Leptis, very unlucky. Meanwhile, the rest of the field seems to be getting away okay. Oh, jockeying for position coming down. Oh, there's an incident in the back. There's an incident in the back with what looks like Sam Phelps. Sure, that will be reviewed as and when. Currently, the cars in the middle of the pack all vying for position coming out of the first sector. This is going to be an absolute stormer of a race, it looks like. Everyone is a bit more familiar with each other, and we know what to expect from other drivers. This is the beauty of 2 30-minute races. You get one go, you get to go back. Oh, no! Oh no, Alfie's had an incident. Alfie's had an incident with a 28 rubbing the Groots, gone around, and is going to be losing positions hand over fist. Oh, that's very unfortunate for Alfie. Meanwhile, on lap 3, we had Willie Pope looking at Neuromiski. This is in the middle of the pack. P13, P14, 2 yellow cars, and they also have an incident. The Porsche and the Aston Martin coming together. Aston Martin getting back on the track, but look at his hood coming up already. He will not be happy. Both drivers will want that to go to the stewards, and there are more incidents in the background, it looks like. It looks like someone went off in the back. Not too sure what happened there. The stewards will be very busy with this one after the race. Meanwhile, Mark Wingham and Alfie battled side by side coming out of the first sector. It's 3 wide, and I do not understand what I've just seen. It looks like Verboven just made contact. Yep, that was the incident from earlier. He will not be happy with himself. The other drivers will not be happy with him. That is likely to be reviewed, and we'll leave that in the hands of the stewards for now, but that is not how we want the race to be starting. On lap 3 with Dami Ayo and Phil Roberts. Phil Roberts having a look around the outside, trying to keep his position in that Ginetta. Oh, Phil Roberts with a cutback. Dami is not going to be able to keep his position, is he? They're side by side coming off the hairpin. Dami has the inside line, but if they can stick together, it means that Phil Roberts will be ahead of him into turn 1 if this continues the way it is. Some great driving with them so far. Side by side coming out the final corner. Meanwhile, we have Wick in the background. The 3 cars in the background looking for position there. Skipping forward to lap 4, Mathieu DeLuca, James Birtwistle fighting for position. Mathieu DeLuca in the 21 Chevy. It's a 3-way drag race to the hairpin. That chunking Chevy making a go of it. And I think he has made a stick. I think he has made a stick up from P9 to what looks like P8 or P7. No, that's Dami Ayo in front. So yes, all the way up to P7, making a pass on Wick as well. Good driving, DeLuca. Very good driving. That Chevy making everything work for him. Wide cars. Oh, who's that in the background? Everyone's trying to find a way past each other on track currently. Is another Chevy trying to find a way past another Chevy. There are 2 wide boys. There is not space for both of you in that corner. Wisely backs off and is get to go again. The 21 and the 786. Once again, we're on board with Mathieu DeLuca. This is on lap 5. Still having a battle with James Birtwistle. These two have been keeping themselves on their toes all the way through. P7 and P8, James runs wide. James runs wide, lets the 21 Chevy alongside him, but he keeps the inside of the next corner, gets a nicer run, and should be able to protect his position going into the hairpin. Meanwhile, in front, we have P6 and P5 pulling away from this pack as they battle between themselves. They will want to get back into a line and try and close the gap up to the cars in front. But right now, we're in lap 5 with Ja and Nico. It looks like Nico's not very happy with Ja. I am not too sure. The lights flashing. That's P29 Jazeji. And looks like the Audis run very wide in the background, letting 3-4 cars past them. It's all still happening in this second race. Everyone chasing down positions, trying to better where they started. Jean and Nico still side by side. The Chevy looking menacing in the rear view of the Porsche. Meanwhile, Mark Wingham on lap 5 and Alex Siklovan are battling for position. It's a BMW and BMW affair over here. The 76 and the 27. The 76 is up on the inside. Turn 3. Looks like he's going to make it work. That is not turn 3. That was turn 2. And yep, looks like Siklovan is cleanly through. Cleanly through on Mark Wingham. Had to back out and also let another car through. Losing 2 positions in one move. Not what he would have wanted. While the Chevy still trying to be as nice and menacing in the background of the Jean Zetche's car. A very interesting color scheme. Green, looks like a matte and a neon green. That would stand out in anyone's mirrors. The Porsche running really wide. The Chevy taking advantage and it's cleanly through. For a track that has been rumored not to be able to have great overtaking opportunities, this has provided some fantastic races so far. Lap 6, Sam Phelps and Alex Siklovan. Alex is looking left and right, trying to line up the 78. It looks like he has successfully distracted him. The 78 of Sam Phelps has lost some momentum coming out of turn 2. And Alex, with a very good pressure pass, makes his way past him. And Sam Phelps gets a drive-through for his troubles as well, trying to defend that position. He will not be very happy. It's going from bad to worse for him. Currently in P18, but will be falling a bit further down the pack as he serves his penalty later in the race. Now on lap 7, Christopher Verboven and Lucas Wick. Lucas Wick in the Audi a bit further ahead of him. Christopher Verboven with the beaten up Chevy coming up from behind, and Lucas Wick just runs wide. I am not entirely sure what he was looking at. Misses braking points it seems and just runs very, very wide. Allows Christopher Verboven right through, and this should be it for now. I mean, until Lucas closes the gap right back and they begin battling with themselves again. This is a good race to watch. Meanwhile, there's a pack of 5 in front. A pack of 5 battling from P14 to 18, it looks like. All sizing each other up into the hairpin. Meanwhile, Alex Siklovan is having to look at Mark Wingham at the rear of the pack. And it looks like he's going to have the race. He's going to have the legs to make it past him eventually. He's been eyeing this move up for 2-3 laps already. And nope, Mark Wingham keeps his inside line, keeps the position. And it looks like they'll be back in order as you were, chasing each other down once again. Meanwhile, the front of that pack is Alfie Batholt. Alfie Batholt leading from Jack Haynes. Jack Haynes leading from Alfie Batholt. Jack Haynes in the Mercedes, Alfie in the BMW. Alfie gets a look up the inside of the hairpin. And he's going to have a cleaner run through, but Jack should have the... No, he's just done him for speed. He has just done it for speed on the exit of the corner, and the BMW is away from the Mercedes. And they form into a nice clump of 4 behind. It's like Tetris trying to find a position for your car on this track right now. Mathieu DeLuca and James Birtwistle having a look in front, the Chevy and the Aston Martin. So it's drag race down to the straight again. Down to the hairpin, rather. And Mathieu is on the inside. Mathieu makes it stick. I think James is going to be looking for the cutback. It's there. It's on. It's on, and the Aston Martin may have it, but I think the Chevy has the inside line to the next corner. Hard on the brakes, both cars trying to find a way through. They make contact, and Mathieu's spinning a bit. Think he recovers, but loses the position. Meanwhile, on lap 9, Steven DeVoist and Sam Phelps are battling for position. Steven DeVoist in the Porsche puts in his car in the mirrors of the other Porsche in front of him, and he's clean through. He is clean through. On Sam Phelps, it looks like... Nope, that was Sam Phelps going right past Steven DeVoist, all the way around. Steven was having a look at the KTM, could not make it past there, and Sam saw his opportunity, snuck right past him. Meanwhile, lap 10, Peter Yakab running very, very, very wide to try and pass Oleg Krivoshev. Apologies, Krivoshev, for the delay in your name. Meanwhile, the KTM on the inside, approaching the hairpin. The KTM's got the line. There will be no cutbacks. The Audi's taking a fair few excursions trying to find his way through the KTM. Cannot make it through. Meanwhile, there's a drive-through from Mathieu DeLuca up on the grid, probably for cutting the track limits. Meanwhile, Ian Marshall and Jean Zetche Zege? Apologies, Zege. Send me a message. Let me know how to pronounce your name. All interactions are welcome over here. Ian Marshall and Ja having a look. Ian sends it. Nope, Ja sends it on Ian. Ian takes avoiding action. It's going to be side by side, and it looks like Ja lets him right back. That's some very clean driving there by Ja. Realized his mistake and decided to let him pass again. While at the back of the pack, Daniel Zlatnik with the drive-through. We're on board with Daniel Zlatnik right now, having the chase down of Nieromiski. Daniel's had a drive-through for cuts in the track limits too many times. One too many times, and oh, there he is. Nieromiski in his Porsche could not keep it through the corner, and Daniel has a nice clean pass through up into P20. And he's just going to pull away because Nieromiski does not have any top speed right now. He's having to build back all his momentum, and Daniel will be happy with P20, although he may end up going back a little bit after serving his penalties. Meanwhile, on lap 12, we have Jack Haynes, Alex Sikloven, and who's that in the background? Ooh, apologies, Alex Sikloven's making a move on the inside of Jack Haynes. As we approach the exit of the first sector, the side-by-side is going to be yet another drag race down into the hairpin. The BMW of Wingham in the background trying to find his way through as well. Jack is going to lose 2 positions. He's 2 for the price of 1 here, and it looks like he was going to make a move on the inside as well. Meanwhile, on lap 13, Dami Ayo and Joe Gleason. The KTM has been keeping the Mercedes behind successfully for much of this race, and he just runs wide. He runs wide. He's going to be side by side down the back straight, and we know that the KTM struggles a little bit for top speed, so we expect that Mercedes to pull away, and it looks like that's exactly what's happening right now. It looks like the KTM's trying to have a look up the inside, better on the brakes, but no, the Mercedes keeps that line up the inside. Dami Ayo cleanly up into position, and that's for P5. Joe Gleason going back 1 position. Meanwhile, lap 14, Alfie Batholt in this pack once more battling for position. There's an Audi, there's a BMW, looks like there's a Porsche as well, and an Aston Martin. All 4 brands battling for position. For P10, it looks like the 441 of Alfie going past Johan van der Meer. Van der Meer is going to try and find a way past as come down the straight. The 2 in front are just trying to pull away, keep it sensible. I think that's the Aston Martin defending from the Porsche in front. And we move up to lap 14. Willie Pope in the 361 Aston Martin, battling with Alex Sikloven in the 27 BMW. Also, the Aston Martin looks a little worse for wear. It's down the start-finish straight. Sikloven first to the corner, good enough on the brakes, keeps it together, keeps the position. And we know that where he goes, Wingham is currently following hot on his heels. He is going to be chasing down that yellow Aston Martin as well, trying to find his way past. I believe it was Willie Pope that had the incident at the start of the race, not Sam Phelps, judging by the state of his car. Meanwhile, Ja and Alfie. Ja finally trying to make that move stick. Same corner as it was last time. No contact this time around. They are side by side leaving the hairpin. And it's the 441 of Alfie on the outside. Oh, the 29 of Ja with some very, very good braking. Alfie is going to be looking for the cutback. There is no cutback to be had this time around. Ja finally makes it past Alfie Batholt. That's been some heroic effort by Alfie keeping him behind him, but it looks like he's not been able to do it for the whole race. Here we go again. As we approach the start-finish straight, we have Alfie and Ja chasing each other down once more. Alfie with the flashing lights. I think there's a... I'm not sure what's happening. It's side by side. He's good enough on the brakes. He makes it into turn 1. He makes it into turn 1. Ja's going to have it all to do again. He just spent the whole last couple of laps getting past him. Meanwhile, the Aston Martin of Ian Marshall in front is happy to see that happening in his rear view and is pulling away from the battle. Alfie tries to keep that position. Looks like Joe Gleason's got back in front of Dami Ayo again. And Dami's going to have to do the work to get him back into P5 once more. Oh, and P4 has a drive-through as well. And just as we had that, I think Joe Gleason may have been distracted by his... Oh, he might be distracted by the penalty up in front because he has just let Dami Ayo cleanly up into P5. No pressure. He's going to have to keep it together to be able to get that P4 from Phil Roberts in front. Phil will not be... I'm not sure what happened with Phil because he was driving away with it. He was chasing down cars in front, left, right, and center. We're down to lap 16. Is Jack Haynes and Mark Wingham. Jack runs very wide on the final corner of the lap, and it looks like he just lets Mark Wingham alongside him going into the first corner. There's a blue flat car out of the way. Side by side, cars on the grass. Everybody's up. The blue flat car is just trying to keep off the way. He goes off track to let everybody off. And Mark Wingham through the complex of corners, makes it past Jack Haynes. Jack Haynes has been in a very interesting fight for positions this race as well. Meanwhile, it's Ja and Alfie once more. Alfie's behind Ja. Alfie is going to have a look, and Alfie is flashing Ja. I'm not entirely sure what the situation is there. And Ja seems to not either have top speed or be letting him pass once more. And once again, Alfie goes past Ja, and this battle for 10th, 11th is very, 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 very intense, it looks like. It's lap 17, there's one more lap. They're within seconds of themselves. And at the front of the pack, Marcin Olejars this time around managed to keep it in P1. He comes around the final few corners, and it looks like we have a winner for the race, Marcin Olejars, followed by Nathan Wisniewski, and Sean Buck will be in P3. What a race once more. It's Porsche from Aston, Dami Ayo in P4 with the Mercedes, and Vlamings with the first Chevy on track in P5. Fantastic racing from everyone once more. This is what we came to see. Full races everywhere, drivers battling for position, some fair driving, mistakes acknowledged, and positions given back. There's a car off in the background. After what was yet another intense second race, intense racing in the GT4 AM class, at the end of the race, we had Marcin Olejars coming in from pole in P1, Nathan Wisniewski in P2, and Sean Buck running out the podium positions in P3. Dami Ayo could only make it up into P4 in the Mercedes, and Nico Vlamings, the first Chevy in P5 from Brotherhood Racing. We had James Birtwistle in P6, Joe Gleason in P7, Ian Marshall in P8, Alfie Batholt made it into P9, Phil Roberts in P10, splitting Alfie and Ja in P11th after what must have been an intense battle between both drivers throughout this race. P12 was Johannes van der Meer, P13 Alex Sikloven, P14 Willie Pope, P15 Jack Haynes, P16 Mark Wingham, P17 Christopher Verboven, P18 Nero Miski, P19 Alex Walker, P20 Gergely Mazak, P21 Lucas Wick, P22 Richie Hartley, P23 Phelps, P24 Yates, P25 Krivoshev, P26 Steven De Voist, P27 Peter Jakob, P28 Daniel Zlatnik, P29 Mathieu De Luca, Andre Leptis in P30. Robin de Groot and Seb Bus could not finish the race this time around. What a race. After two very close races up and down the field, leader of the championship is Nathan Wisniewski in the 42 Porsche, P1 with 129 points. Marcin Olejars in P2 with 127 points. Sean Buck in P3 with 106 points. The only difference between Nathan and Marcin in P1 and P2 is that Wisniewski set two of the fastest laps in both races, giving him the edge over Marcin Olejars. James Birtwistle in P4 has 84 points. Dami Ayo in P5 has 79 points, also sharing with Alfie Batholt in P6 with 79 points. Ian Marshall in 71 points. Joe Gleason with 56 points. Phil Roberts with 53, sharing the points also with Willie Pope in P10, also on 53 points. Nico Vlamings has 50 points in P11. Andre Leptis, 42 points in P12. Alex Sikloven, 42 points in P13. Johannes van der Meer, 38 points in P14. Jazic, 37 points in 15. Christopher Verboven, 37 points in 16. Jack Haynes, 31 points in 17th. Robin de Groot in 18th with 29 points. Sam Phelps with 25 points in P19. Nero Mirsky, 23 points in 20th. Mark Wingham, 22 points, 21st. Gergely Mazak, 22nd with 22 points also. Alex Walker in 23rd with 20 points. Mathieu De Luca in 24th with 16 points. Steven De Voist in 25th with 14 points. Richie Hartley in 26th with 13 points. Oleg Kryushev in 27th with 11 points. Lucas Wick, 28th with 11 points also. Andy Yates in 29th with 10 points. Peter Jakob in 30th with 6 points. Daniel Polster did not race today and does not have any points in 31st. Seb Bus did not finish any of the races. The first 30 drivers have the points, and P31 to P35 do not have any points for today. Join us next week at Paul Ricard, where these GT4s will be trying to get past each other. We know it's going to be fun going down the Mistral Straights. There's going to be all kinds of action, and the drivers are going to be even more prepared considering they now understand themselves even better. Thank you once again for joining us. We look forward to seeing you next week. Take care.